Hello, all you amazing healers. Today I'm going to talk to you about the energy of words again, and I'm going to explain the difference between what happens when you use a negative phrase versus when you use a positive phrase. So stay tuned to hear more. After interviewing hundreds of amazing healers like you on my podcast, I discovered their biggest challenges include not knowing where to get started to build their healing practice, build their practice so they can attract a stable income to support themselves, and that their advertising efforts seem like a waste of time and money. I had these same frustrations during my 30-year healing history. When I finally retired as a physics professor, I needed to replace my six-figure salary fast. As a highly sensitive introvert, I couldn't use typical sales techniques. Instead, I developed a 3-step system that replaced my income within 5 months. I've helped others develop their successful healing businesses with this system, and I can help you too. I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. Listen in to discover more. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're back here today. And today, as I said, I'm going to explain what happens when you use a negative word phrase. This is actually very scientific. The subconscious fails to recognize negatives. It will focus on the words around the negative phrase. The subconscious works in symbols, and it doesn't have a symbol for not, even though we have a symbol consciously with a circle and the big red circle with a big slash through it, right? But let's look at what happens with the negative words, right? So if you say, instead of good, you say not bad, right? So not bad, if you measure the frequency of the words between 0 and 1,000, not bad will read at about 175. And you want to be up in the 300 to 400 range for it to affect people positively. So instead of saying, oh, that's not bad, you're better off saying it's good, right? So as I said, not bad is 175. And good is 300. But what if you were to use something like outstanding or excellent or wonderful? You are really raising that energy way up there, because people, when you know, A is like excellent and B is like good, and wouldn't you rather get an A than a B? And so all of these upbeat words make a really huge difference. So when someone asks you, how are you today? You can say, I'm excellent, or everything is wonderful. Because I used to tell my mom, when I would tell her, I would ask her how she doing, and she was in her 80s, and I would ask her, how are you doing? Oh, everything is just terrible. So I had this little talk with her, and I said, what if you were to change that? How would you feel? So then she got to the point where she would say, well, it could be better. It's improving. And then she would improve and her mood would go up. And then we'd laugh about that, right? So having those kinds of statements really, really helps, right? And then what about words that express healing, right? So not sick varies around 90 to 100 out of 1,000. Okay is 200. So that's kind of in that inflection point where it goes from being really unhealthy to being neutral, right? Healthy is at 430, great is at 480, vibrant is at 530, and radiant is at 600, right? So when you tell somebody you look radiant, you're raising your own frequency and you're raising the frequency of somebody else. So I'm going to just lay out a few rules, right? Actions to avoid, and then what to say instead. So some of the things that happen to us is you can put yourself in in a state of, can I say, you can put yourself in a state of feeling like you're an imposter or you can't do it or you're not capable, all of those negative words, right? And one of the ways to get there is to ask the questions, how do I do that? How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. How do I do that? These are phrases you can avoid, right? What to say instead is, what would it take for me to accomplish that? How does that feel to you, right? It feels like you have the capability, you have the knowledge. We all have this knowledge. It's all here, it's all around us, right? What would it take to do this? Because if you ask how, you're always implying that you don't know, even if you do know. And I remember when my daughter was very young and she had a bad case of dyslexia, which has improved dramatically since. But when she was very young, she had this dyslexia case. And her first response out of her mouth when you asked a question was she would say, I don't know. And I said, but you knew that yesterday. You explained that to me yesterday. And then she would go, ah, right? And then she would explain it to me. Right? So that is like a first knee-jerk reaction impulse is to say, I don't know, and to ask how. The next thing is using the word if. If I graduate, if I get a good grade on the test, if I succeed at losing weight, if I succeed at a business, right? If I attract enough healing clients. All those ifs give you the out of you not doing it, right? What to say instead is when I graduate, when I succeed at getting enough good healing clients, when I am able to earn a good living from my healing. That makes it so it's inevitable rather than it being questionable, right? And then the last thing that I have seen over and over again is, if I was meant to be a healer, then clients would just show up. They know I am here, right? They will get the message from above that I'm here. So new clients aren't going to fall into your lap magically. You have to make it known that you are there and that you are available, right? I have served plenty of clients, and these clients feel secure that I'm here, and whenever they need me or they know somebody else who would need me, they call me up and they re-engage with me, right? So I always ask them, if you could send me clients, then I offer them something in return, right? And one of them just recently told me, my whole family knows you're always there and knows that they can come to you if they have some issue because you have helped every single member of my family. And now when there's somebody that's very close to me that also needs your help, I send them to you. So I'm working with a young man now, and he is improving where there was no other hope, right? He was on different medications that wasn't helping, and now he's improving. So this is the kind of referral and the kind of client that you really want to have, and that you make sure that they are aware of how you've helped them. That's why when I've talked to you before about at the end of a session to kind of go over where they were before, where they are now, and each time do that. And that will mean that they will help with referrals, whether you ask them or not, right? These are people that I've never asked for referrals. So don't ever think that new clients will fall into your lap magically, even though sometimes they do, right? So And then the last thing is to make sure that you remove the negative terms from your vocabulary. As I said, instead of being not bad, it's good, great, excellent, wonderful, right? And then another thing is that people say, I never ever want that to happen to me again, or I am never going to be fat again, or I am never going to be broke again. What your subconscious hears is, I will be broke again, I will be fat again, right? So what you want to do is say something positive like, that's in my past, that's in my rearview mirror, right? You don't need to use, right? The lack of the negative words makes the statement way more powerful. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I hope this was helpful for you to realize that the negative terms do not get registered in the subconscious, instead using positive terms. And the higher the frequency word, going from good to great to excellent to wonderful, for example, if somebody asks you how you are, you just say, I'm wonderful, or I'm extraordinary, one of my friends always says, right? So using these high frequency words can really change your outlook on life. And then two other things, strike how from your vocabulary, because it implies you don't know, but you do. And remove if from your thinking, because it implies that the end result may never occur, right? So what you want is, instead of the end result, you want it to be inevitable. So using when instead of if. Instead of saying how, ask what would it take, right? And then last, drop the negative terms. Instead say, that's in my rearview mirror, or in my past, right? Okay, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. If you found this message helpful, please subscribe to this channel, give me a thumbs up or a 5-star rating, and share it with your friends. To discover more about the 3-step system for attracting a generous income as a healer or intuitive coach, sign up for free at www.highpaidhealers.com. I look forward to seeing you there and in the next video.